Hello there, and welcome to the Heed Army podcast. Nearly didn't happen this week because I was on death's doorstep with a god almighty man flu. I've just recovered from it, and then I spoke to Mickey crying on the phone. I'm telling him all my ailments, and apparently Mickey went through the same thing.
Yeah, and I didn't bitch on like you did for the start.
Oh no, I was proper crying. Absolutely. My wife didn't give as much sympathy at all. I was shaking like a pooing dog, as they say in the trade. It wasn't very nice at all. But pardon me. Of course, massive news on Tyneside. We can't not talk about it. The ladies and the men got through in the FA Cup this weekend. What a fantastic achievement. But no, I'd say obviously we'll mention it a little bit. The Newcastle takeover, how will it affect North East non-league football? We'll get into that a little bit later on. But on the Gateshead front, a fantastic weekend for both the men and the ladies team. Mickey, we'll start off with the ladies team. Beat Spennymoor at home, a team from a league above, I believe.
Up the league.
Yeah, above. And done very well to get through.
Done absolutely fantastic. The only downside is we've lost Jade Anderson for 68 weeks. She's got a grade 2 tear in her calf, which is a massive shame because she was playing well.
Yeah.
But Jade went off and Jasmine come on. And Jasmine played really well, scored the winner. It was a good team performance, and a good team performance.
Yeah,
but Monty was outstanding.
It's
absolutely outstanding. And
it's great to hear. It's just a fantastic weekend in the FA weekend for the club as a whole. Both teams progressing through. Gateshead, of course, away to Marsk. The draw was made on Monday. It was either going to be Chester or Marsk, and Marsk went down to Chester and won their replay in fine fashion. And former Gateshead striker Adam Boyes scoring another 2 goals. I think that makes it 9 goals. I think it is so far in this season's FA Cup, or is it 9 or 8? One of the two. But we've got lots of messages coming in. Mason Ford as per evening, gents. Don't know who that is. Evening, lads. How are you all recovering?
Excellent. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah. Hang on a second. And brilliant news on Newcastle takeover, isn't it? It is for Newcastle. I'm happy for them. Yeah, happy for it. Richest club in the world.
We went through myself.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn it down. I'd rather watch the Heed in the Durham Cup than watch Newcastle in the Champions League. Well, as I say, it's nice to know. As I say, I'm sure there's room for both of us. We'll put it that way. Gordon Madness, but even lads, how are you doing tonight? Well, my throat is getting a little bit croaky at the minute, so I'm going to power through just for you. Power through. David Tron. Even lads, great day on Tyneside. Can't wait for the Boston game at the weekend. Messages are flying in there. Same high viewing figures as well early on. Thank you very much. Hi lads. Ladies' game was excellent. It really is great that the ladies are getting the recognition. And Mr. Luke, hello gents. What can I say about Runcorn Linnets? The game had to be honest. That was the toughest game of the season. We also have another tough FA Cup match against Marsk. They're flying at the minute, and say it's an hour and a bit down the road. Hopefully, we can get a good following down there. You've got your ticket already, haven't you? Yeah, and Lewis Wilkinson, evening lads. Jordan Preston returned to Gateshead on Saturday, as is Jordan Burrow. It's bad enough one former striker returning to haunt you, never mind 2. But if we set out and play our game, then we know what can happen. So just talking about the game on Saturday. By the way, I forgot to mention, Owen Bailey is joining us 1:15 as well, making his podcast.
Oh, the lass has got arrogant in the cup.
Yeah, we're going to get to it all. Keep sending in them messages. Remember, share, like, and subscribe. We're at 95 subscribers. We're 5 away from that magic 100 to get us into 3 digits. It'd be lovely if we can do that and try and boost the algorithm a little bit and reach out to more people on Tyneside. And if you're watching on Facebook as well, like and share on there. It'd be amazing if you can. Say one went away to Runcorn, went in front, and then we had to come from behind at one point. But we come away with the win, and it sounds like it was a very tough game, but we thought it might be because they were in a similar run of form to us. The cup throws league form and league placings out the table. We've known it every season of our lives. We know the FA Cup throws up upsets no matter what the level or all the round. So we came through it. That's the most important thing, and hopefully we can go one further and get into the first round against Marsk. But we're going to be put to our mettle against in that game.
They've beat South Shields easily 3 out. They've drew with Chester at home. I think Chester must have thought we'll get them at home. We'll do them, and they've just completely ripped up the form book.
Yeah,
I had a funny feeling Marsk would win.
I mean, you look at the teams already. They give a battering to South Shields, a full-time outfit. They've beat Chester. No mean feat. Good side in our league, and we are going to have to be on it. But I'm sure Mike Williamson installs that into the players for every game. So, and the messages are flying in still. Dave Allen, he's put Jordan Preston was unlucky, played 99 games for us before COVID arrived. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Couldn't have hit that magic 100. Also, had 2 players banned for a couple of months. So,
yeah, betting.
Oh, have they?
One of them was Thanodge, which he's a really good player. Thanodge, ex-Grimsby. I really like him as a player.
Yeah.
I think Thanodge is 5 months. I think he's banned for.
Wow. When was this happening? That didn't
happen through the week. I couldn't tell you the name of the other lad.
But it must have been when I was on my deathbed. I didn't at all looking at anything.
Tell you what,
my wife's laughing. I was a quivering wimp, as they say. No, she pretended to do the little boy cough that I was doing. Apparently, devastating. Really is. Honestly, I feared I might not get in front of a microphone again. But yeah,
then you're wishing probably.
Yeah, but yeah. So where was I? Have got to be at we're best for whoever we're facing. We know that, and the FA Cup is no exception, really, is it on that? But we have got some thoughts and views before we get 1 second. We've got another one here. We'll go. This is what the viewers think. Dave is such a tart.
Well said, Charlie. Couldn't agree more.
I'm a little bit unkempt today. Normally, I know I am looking my best on here. And the other player was Bill Rowlands. Apparently, was
right. Cheers, mate.
All right. So, 1 second. Let's just see a bit of breaking news on my phone there. Nothing we can talk about.
PIF.
Sorry?
Colours in the PIF.
Well, what can you say? It's all fun and games till you get a foreign owner, isn't it? But I'm sure it'll work out across the river.
I'm sure theirs have got more sense than the Italian fantasist we had.
At least they've got more money. Who needs sense when you've got money? But yeah, what it is, there was a pre-match interview with Mike Williamson that will play out for ahead of this weekend's game. I think there's an injury update in there as well. This is from GFC TV. Remember, please do go to that and subscribe, as well as all Gates FC's social media, because Jack McGragan, or Jack Spielberg McGragan, as he's going to be known now, because some of his cinematography on the away days stuff is fantastic. Although I think the Kevin, might have called him Spielberg. So we'll play that out a little bit later on. But this was Mike Williamson speaking ahead of this weekend's game.
Mike, see another home game coming up this Saturday against Boston United. Sort of first half, how's everyone looking at it in terms of the fitness and injury wise after last weekend's game?
Yeah, everyone's well. We had a few knocks, but everyone's back in training today, so looking forward to it. Obviously know what a test it's going to be for us, and I think we're excited.
And Jack Hunter and Elliot Forbes sort of joining in with parts of training today. How sort of close are they to potentially being back involved?
Yeah, both very close. Forbes will be in and around it, but obviously won't have the match fitness there, so it'd be good to get him involved, and then Jack will be very soon after, early next week.
And in terms of Boston on Saturday, sort of a bit of a mixed start to the season for them so far, but how tough a test are you expecting from them?
Yeah, toughest game of the season. Simple as that. I think they've obviously recruited really well. They've got a few former players of ours that obviously always look forward to coming back to their old grounds. And we know how difficult it was last season when we played them home and away. So yeah, like I said, looking forward to it. We know it's going to be very tough. It's going to be a battle on every front, but we've just got to make sure that we show up to our levels.
Of course, sort of trying to continue the perfect record at home so far. Does that record potentially put any extra pressure or expectation on you that people are coming here expecting you to win as the favourites, perhaps?
No, I'm not really bothered about that record. I want to win the game to get 3 points and to continue in the vein that we've been so far. So for me, yeah, it's nice for maybe the fans to look at it. I don't talk about that in here with the boys. It's literally just the hardest game of the season in our eyes, and we know we've got to be at the races to stand a chance of winning the game.
And last time out in the league here against Gloucester, you kept your first clean sheet of the season. How much are you wanting to keep that kind of run defensively going and keep building on that platform and keep more clean sheets? We
sure, yeah. You keep a clean sheet, you can't lose a game. Obviously, we're always wanting to improve in every department. But yeah, it's like I say, we know we're going to come up against 4 very, very good offensive players on Saturday, and they've got a very strong, disciplined and experienced back four. So, like I say, everyone's got to be on their game, defending from the front, all the way through to Chappie. So yeah, looking forward to that.
And touching on sort of always looking to improve a bit there, how sort of close or far away from your best do you feel like you are at the minute?
Well, I think it's the striving for perfection scenario is always the case. I think there's always going to be areas. I don't think you will ever get a perfect performance, but every day we work towards creating that. So we know what it looks like as staff and players, and throughout the departments, collectively on and off the field, we're always working to create that. But like I say, it's always a work in progress.
Well, there you go, Mike Williams speaking to Jack McGragan there, and saying something that we thought you'd probably say, that he's always striving for perfection. It never ends, and he's certainly instilling that, isn't he?
Oh. I don't want to get too excited, Davey, but some of the football we've witnessed, and we spoke about it before, it's on par with what we're witnessing under Mills.
Yeah, it just seems to have that a bit more of a clinical edge, doesn't it? And we spoke before we came on there. There seems to be, it seems to be more structured, a little bit behind tactically as well. I think Gary Mills, it was beautiful to watch and everything, but it just feels like we've got more of a set plan before we go out, and instead of letting the players go out and be themselves, we're still letting them do that, but they've got a few key rules to play, off the ball, maybe more than what we had then. But that's not to downgrade any of Gary Mills' achievements. It just the way it feels at the moment.
How can you downgrade anything Gary Mills done?
couldn't. Sorry, pardon me. Just seen this next message. I don't know if it's aimed at me, whoever's shouting this in the crowd, but Mr. Luke, I always like the person who shouts, "Shut up, you tart. He is class." I hope it's someone not listening to the commentary. Shocking. I don't know, but yeah. So we'll be hopefully joined by Owen Bailey very, very shortly. I want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Northern. There we go, Northern Print Solutions. Below us, without their help, we wouldn't be able to broadcast. We need to get a new advert made, but obviously with COVID and things like that, we haven't been able to go down to the factory and record anything. So hopefully we'll be able to do something like that soon. But Northern Print Solutions, thank you for your support.
Hello everybody, you might remember me. I'm that ball that Paul Blacker kicked down the Tyne. But look, don't worry, I found a new home, it's lovely. But please like and subscribe to the Heed Army podcast. Don't worry, Paul, I still love you.
I messaged him to see if he was all right with that. He said he hadn't seen it, so what can you do? Hopefully he's all right.
Just had to stick it on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll be putting it on social media this week. But no, it's all in good. Well, we are about to be joined by one of Gateshead's new signings from this summer. He's all set there and looking beautiful. I can see him in the background. He's just checking his hair. He's here he is. There we go. Hello, Owen. How are you doing?
Wow, what a
How we
handsome
doing,
chap,
guys?
Owen.
Hey, he's too kind. He's just too kind.
Before we go any further, my feet, I've got some hard skin on the bottom of my feet. You couldn't have a look at them, could you?
Who said that? Macaulay, that must have been, was it?
Well, we've seen the video on social media, but is this a true reflection of Macaulay Langstaff's feet?
They were probably a little bit worse than that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, these feet have been on fire, so they are going to look in a bad shape. But a belated
You got the town where to win some fish.
a belated welcome to the club, Owen. Obviously, it's been great to have you here. You started off enjoying your football. You can tell out there. Did you find it hard in the first few games to settle in with it being competitive football from dropping from the academy set up at Newcastle?
I think it's just because it was so different. In terms of like styles of play, and sort of like my role within the team was so sort of different to what I was used to. So obviously it was going to take a bit of time to sort of get used to it and really like understand what was sort of expected of me and how I could sort of best affect the game, so to speak. So I think obviously it was going to take a bit of time, and I missed a lot of time through injury as well. So I'm making a lot of excuses here, but it took a couple of weeks to sort of get up to speed, I think, and hopefully I'm getting close to where I was before the injury and stuff, and getting close to my best and showing that on the pitch.
When you were out injured, is that when you took your chiropody?
My chiropody, aye. It's a part-time course,
You've settled into that midfield three that we're playing with at the moment, alongside Dan Ward and Greg Ollie at the moment. You've came into the team late on pre-season. Did you feel like you settled in well amongst them lads in the way that we play at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously with me playing the sort of holding role at the minute, obviously it's more about me sort of keeping it defensively tight and stuff, and stopping counters, but obviously trying to bring a bit on the ball as well in terms of keeping it and trying to create chances where I can. But obviously I think playing as the deeper one, first and foremost, it's obviously sort of being the defensive sort of spine, which is what we talk about a lot. But I think obviously with likes of Wardy and Greg playing in front of you, it means that there's not as much emphasis on you anyways to be going forward, because obviously you look at them too and you've got the front three and the fullbacks bombing on as well. We've got a lot of quality going forward. So I think it sort of makes my job easy when I've got to just sort of look after the defensive side of the game and try and keep things tight.
Yeah, we're shocked at the creativity in the Gated side, because, as you mentioned there, we've got the wing backs that get involved. Obviously, in Jacob and Tinks are phenomenal down either flank, but then we've got the Greg Ollie just in behind. Dan Ward's getting in the action now, and of course the three lads up top. Were you shocked at the quality that was there when you came in?
I wouldn't say I was shocked, because I've played with the lads before, and I know sort of what they're all about, and I know that they've got a lot of ability and they've got a lot to give. But there was obviously a few of the lads who I hadn't played with. Obviously, I hadn't played with Macaulay before, and I hadn't played with Adam Campbell. Obviously, I knew him, but I hadn't played with him. And Keds is the same. I've trained with him and stuff before, but obviously I played with Blackett. And then obviously you've got like Greggy, Wardy, and then even the lads who are sort of out injured at the minute and stuff, got likes of Luke Williams and stuff. They've got a lot of quality, and Jack Hunter, Danny Greenfield. Like there's a lot of quality and a lot of strength and depth, really, especially going forward. So I wouldn't say I was shocked, but I would say like I was just like sort of,
Pleasantly
I don't know how to
surprised.
describe it really. But it wasn't even a surprise really, because I sort of
Yeah.
knew, I kind of knew what they were about. You know what I mean? I think it was more
Mhm.
the style of play and stuff. Obviously, there was like a clear kind of identity how we play and how we want to create chances. And I think that makes things a lot easier when everyone knows kind of how we play, and like on terms of on our team, they know how we're playing, how we're going to create the best sort of moments in the game for us. So I think that makes things a lot easier for everyone, and I think that's probably a reason why the results have got better as well. Obviously, we've beat performing decent, but we drew with Southport and stuff. And I think obviously you look now and the performances are, there's a lot more goals and stuff involved as well. So I think we're getting used to it, and we're really benefiting from it as well.
I
That
certainly
help you. Sorry, David. That help you bed in easier knowing Nicker, Ollie, Wardy, and the likes. Like when you joined the team.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, like I knew, well, especially Jack and Wardy are two like me really close mates. They go on holiday together and stuff. And Louis Story as well. Like three really close pals, you know, and the likes of Blackett, Alex Nicholson. I name half the team. To be honest, like knew
Yeah.
pretty much all of them like well enough to sort of speak to, anyways. So like you say, it made it a lot easier because I think they kind of knew like what I was about as well. So it was easier for me not to think like, well, I've got to massively like impress these. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, I wanted to impress them, and I wanted to show kind of what I can bring to the team. But it wasn't sort of like I'm completely a new face to them, and they kind of knew already kind of what I could bring really.
Well, we've got a number of questions that's come through on the chat. I'll pardon me. Sorry, I'm
It's a retort.
I'm getting. I'm not, someone else is part in the chat facility. It's lovely, isn't it? Well, I'll pick them out. I'll try and get as many of them read out as I can. Mick Scully's, but did you receive any other offers from your release from Newcastle?
Well, I went up to Livingston towards the end of my time at Newcastle. While I was still there, they let us sort of go up and train. Obviously, when I knew I wasn't getting anything, I went up and done a week there, and I wasn't great, to be honest. Like it was just a trial sort of thing. They didn't offer us anything, but I knew after a couple of days that I probably wasn't going to get offered anything. So it was obviously a good experience, you know, going on my first trial, because obviously I'd been to Newcastle before that. I'd never been on trial, so like that was a good experience to kind of get that. And then after that, I'd done pre-season at Doncaster. I think I was there for 3 or 4 weeks. Done all right there. Similar type thing. But then we went into games and stuff. I done okay. I played a game in midfield, done all right, and then I played, I think it was 65 minutes maybe. I played as a fullback. And then they sort of said that I wasn't kind of what they were looking for, which is sort of one of them things, isn't it? And then after that, I was looking around different places, and like my agent was speaking to other clubs and stuff. And that was when Gates had asked us if I wanted to sort of come in and train. And like at the start, it was sort of just like come in and train, see what you think, and kind of they were light on body, so they said you can use it as fitness, and like they get a player out of it as well, because that was when they played Hartlepool. And then obviously played the game. Like was really impressed with like obviously the side and how we played and stuff. And then I think kind of both sides were kind of happy. Like I was happy to think, well, it was a real option then, do you know what I mean? And then I think they were kind of happy to sort of have a further look at us for the rest of the week, and then try and get something sorted. So that was how it came about, really.
And obviously, it must be an added plus to be on the doorstep as well. Being still.
Aye, definitely, yeah. Get lifts in with Jack every day, Jack Hunter.
Oh, that's all right then.
Surprised you haven't got white hair. I've heard about his driving.
Well, I've heard some rumours as well that Owen's been a bit prolific in training this week. Dave Allen's put defensive midfielder. How many goals have you scored in training this week?
Who's that, Dave?
Yeah.
Aye, he's a legend, Dave. It was on because we're doing a session on Tuesday. Scored a couple of goals, and then He always says to us, Dave, you're holding it back. He says you're holding it back. You wanna show more. You want to get scoring goals on a Saturday and that. So I'll have to try and bring a couple of goals to me game soon.
Well, we've already challenged Jack Hunter to a 40-odd screamer this season when he was doing commentary with us on one of the games. He said he'd have a pop, but only when we're winning by a big one. Got another question here. This one's from Mason Ford. What was it like playing in the under-23s at Newcastle? And second question, thoughts on today. So there's a bit of a double one there, but say what was it like coming through the academy? Did you feel that you had a prospect to get into the first team, or did you feel that it was kind of, was injury hampering it, or was it always kind of a closed door?
I would say, like, obviously my time at Newcastle was great. I grew up there since I was like 8. I spent obviously the majority of my life there. I couldn't really say that I didn't enjoy it at all, because I had such a great time there, and obviously I met loads of great people and friendships and all that, and I got the chance to play pretty much all over the world: Turkey, France, Hong Kong, China, like playing against some of the best players in the world. So like I can only speak highly of my time there, and obviously I wish that I had played like properly for the first team. Obviously I played in the friendly. I wish I had sort of broke through, but then obviously, like I said there, like injuries and stuff didn't help. But it was one of them things you'll never kind of know what would have been, sort of thing, because obviously I was doing all right. I couldn't sit here and say that I was going to be a regular starter for the first team within 2 months before I got injured. You know what I mean? But I thought I was doing okay, and I was progressing quite steadily, and I sort of would have liked to see where it would have led to if I hadn't been injured. But obviously that's sort of done now, and I'm just glad that I've got the opportunity to play senior football and regularly at the minute, like I have at Gateshead. And I think sometimes you can look past that playing regularly, you know, like that's the main thing, really, playing on a Saturday and sort of getting minutes and showing what you can do. Do you know what I mean? So I think coming here has been the best thing that's ever happened to us, really. And I believe everything happens for a reason. So I'm just glad that I've sort of ended up here.
Just before,
and obviously with the news today, I'm happy with the news today.
Yeah.
Still,
Just before. Sorry. Before we go on to that, you mentioned being in Hong Kong. Was that when Adam Bartlett went in goal when you went over there?
Well, he went in. I think it was 2 years before I went. But then when we went, I went in goal twice. We played because it goes to 4 sides. So I went in goal.
Yeah, because I remember he had just left us and went to work as a full-time coach at Newcastle, and then ended up playing in the top. So yeah, he's a lovely lad.
I was going to say he's top man, Bart. Like he's always got on well. To be fair, he was when we played Newcastle 23s in pre-season. Obviously, I spoke with him a lot then, and he was saying like great move for us and stuff, and just telling us like how much he loved it when he was there and stuff. And he says he wishes he could come back and do it all again. So he's been great for things that have Bath.
He was phenomenal in that side for us. Obviously,
we'll say it to you, but we're not saying to him.
I'll not tell him.
Yeah,
it's our secret.
We've had a number of questions asking about today. Obviously, it's big news. We can't hide from it. Obviously, I'm guessing you're a Newcastle United supporter, so you'll be over the moon with it. But what do you think will be the implications for non-league? Do you think they'll do what Man City have done and ingratiate themselves in the community, and and become part of Newcastle, or do you think it'll be a bit of when Chelsea just threw money at the team and and go for glory?
I'd like to hope that it was going to be sort of the look at the local area and stuff. I think they probably will, to be honest, because I think it's such a big area, and obviously I think everyone's been crying out for it for so long. I think that anything that they kind of do to promote the local area, everyone will really buy into it as well. So I think that'll massively help it. And I think in terms of the non-league game, I think it can only be a positive, really, because you look at the quality that'll keep coming through. But then, say if they're bringing in even better players at Newcastle, it's just going to sort of filter down, which it already is. It's filtering down the leagues. Obviously, the more players you bring in, the more local lads and homegrown players are going to end up playing in your lower leagues. So I think it can only be a good thing for the non-league game, and I think the link between Gateshead and Newcastle might become more of a thing, maybe, because I think it's something that would it definitely at Newcastle that could benefit from, but also at Gateshead, because I know obviously at my time at Newcastle, like it didn't once sort of get brought up that I could have possibly went on loan or anything to do with Gateshead, but I think it's definitely something where I think I would have benefited from if I had a sort of done that at the time. But obviously,
Yeah.
it wasn't ever discussed.
It used to be more of a thing about 10 years ago. Of course, we had the likes of James Tavernier, who come and was sensational. Dummett was a rock. And I think after he scored on his debut after being at Gateshead in his first game, was it against Liverpool he scored, I think. But so there was a lot of benefits for players coming over and, like essentially playing man's competitive football and getting a taste for it, and then going back but it's happened with a lot of Middlesbrough players as well, Sunderland players. The list is quite long, so hopefully the link can be strengthened, and players like yourselves can talk to players that there and say, well, it is an option now.
Mm-hmm, definitely, but I think it's one of them things. Like when you're sort of at Newcastle, you don't really appreciate how good the standard is at Gateshead. I think a lot of lads now. I think when we're playing the friendly in pre-season and we obviously won 4-1, I think a lot of the lads were sort of a bit taken back by how good our team actually was that day. And I think because I think it's quite a lot. You turn up and you'd probably think, oh, it's only Gateshead, but it's not. It's not only Gateshead. You know what I mean? It's a really good standard, and I don't think enough people realise it, to be honest. But I think it's becoming more of a thing now that people are sort of, especially the lads that I speak to at Newcastle, are sort of starting to realise that it is. You know what I mean? It's a really good standard, and it's somewhere that they'd like to be. Do you know what I mean? So I think it can only be positive going forward, really.
How shocked were you at the standard when you made played in the league? How shocked were you compared to under 23 football to playing against seasoned pros and some blokes who'll just kick out above grass? How much was that of an eye opener? Was that to you?
I think it must have been. I think it was Leamington away. I think that was when it sort of really hit us, because that game, it was like the pitch was obviously wasn't as nice as it is at Gateshead. And like this, it wasn't so much of a stadium and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like a completely different atmosphere. And obviously the way they play was so different to anything I'd ever sort of played against. Obviously, it's only like the senior cup when you play, like when we played like Morpeth and stuff. It was the only way I could really sort of compare it. Because it was a lot, obviously, like you say, it was a lot of long balls and stuff, and I think it's sort of the proper game, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of the time you think that football's just this pretty game where you're gonna keep the ball for 90 minutes. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to run around. You can just sort of play silky football, take loads of touches, and that's something that I found out myself. I think it was Geisley home when I've ended up taking a couple of touches in midfield, and I think I got the ball, took off his, and it's like it's like a shock, and I've never experienced that. I would normally have loads of time to sort of pick what I want to do, and I think that's still something now that I'm learning and I'm picking up as we go. So I think things like that definitely do shock you.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, we've had a lot of players come from Newcastle, like Chris Gate, Craig Baxter. They were the type of players. I think you've settled in a lot quicker than what they did. Sometimes took about 10 games, 15 games till we've seen the best of those players. But I think sometimes it seems it's more of a protected league, the under-23s, from what I've seen of it. That it's competitive in a way, but nobody's really full-blooded.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's the thing. You can go from 1 week, you could play, say, Man United away, and you could have, like, I don't know, Eric Bailly playing. We played them, they had Eric Bailly playing, they had, like, Mason Greenwood, like proper big stars who are Premier League players now. But then you could go the next week and you're playing, like, at an academy somewhere, and it's like playing for the under-18s again. It's like it's just like a typical kind of youth game. So the difference between each game is so big that I think that's probably why it's so different.
Yeah, we've got a few questions from people that's watching. This one, yeah, who has the best and worst taste in music in the dressing room? And good luck for Saturday.
Thank you for the good luck. The best, I'd say Tinks is up there with the best because he's on the speaker and he's always catering for everyone. I like Tinks's music. Trying to think of the worst. I better say Jack because he struggles in the car in the mornings. You know, I'm in the car in the mornings. Sometimes it's not the best. So I'll connect this to the Bluetooth next time.
Looking to see if we've got any more. We've got another one here from Mick Scully. He's put, did you have a plan B in case you weren't lucky enough to find a full-time club?
Chiropody? Sorry.
Hang on, we'll get some football.
It was a weird one because when I was injured, it gave us a lot of time to sort of think about what I wanted. Because obviously, when football gets taken away, because obviously everything you do is football, training, you're watching it, you go to the gym. It's to get better at your football. Do you know what I mean? You like everything that I did or still do. To be fair, is just sort of focused on me football really. But then obviously that time out, it gives you time to sort of think about what you want to do outside of it. Do you know what I mean? And like what life's kind of about away from football, because it's obviously it is important, but there's sort of more to life in it. You know what I mean? Like you need something else. And obviously I've thought about sort of going down the coaching route. And I thought about doing physiotherapy for a bit. But I think it's sort of one of them where it's kind of on the back burner at the minute. I'm trying to focus fully on playing and stuff at the minute. And I think I'm going to have a few discussions with a few people I know about doing maybe a bit of coaching and stuff as well. But I kind of want to make sure I'm still fully focused on the football, because I still think that's sort of the main route I want to go down anyways.
When you're still a band, you've got ages to take for coaching, man.
I know exactly, but it's just experience in this. You've got to start somewhere. You didn't, so.
I want to ask you: do you think under 23 football should go back to the old reserve team style football for the growth of young players?
I think it would benefit from it, definitely. Or it could go the other way, and you have maybe like an under 20s team, and it's sort of more youth based. But I think at the minute, because of the way that the 23s is, it's just sort of like an in between group, and I think a lot of players slip through the net, because they're sort of deemed to be either too old or just sort of not really ready. But I think it's hard because the gap's so big to be ready, if you get what I mean. So I think
there's no set age to, or timing for when you're going to make that next step. I mean, there's loads of players who can go there or jump from, like Jamie Vardy, no Premier League clubs him when he was 20. So it does seem a little bit harsh that it's sink or swim, isn't it?
I think it's just the way that academies are at the minute. I don't think there's anything sort of wrong with it. I think that's just the way it is. Do you know what I mean? I don't know the answers myself, so it's hard to really say. But I think
can't keep everyone
doing better. Oh, exactly. But then you look at the likes of sort of Adam Armstrong and Ivan Toney, who obviously went away from Newcastle, and they're now both obviously Premier League footballers, and it makes you think, so how did they not make it at Newcastle? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously the top Premier League players now, really. Obviously Ivan's sort of scoring goals, and Adam Armstrong's scored goals for years as well. They're both, you know what I mean? They're both rattling them in. So I think things like that is where it makes you think, is there sort of a better way to do it? But I know that Steve Harper, who's in charge now, he's really looking into it, and I think especially at Newcastle, I think there's going to be some good years ahead for the young lads, I think.
Yeah, another former Gateshead player as well, Steve Harper.
Yeah, I had a 3-month loan on at Gateshead.
So we've got another couple of questions before we'll let you go. We've got another one from that man, Dave Allen. He's put, ask Owen who's top of the fitness charts at the Heed.
The fitness chart. So well, that's another one. So
Must be Dave, is it?
Saturday, might be Dave. We'll have to put a GPS on him. On Saturday we're doing. I was getting battered because I was top of the speed chart on Saturday. So I recorded the fastest run on Saturday. So everyone was battering us. I didn't see why it was funny. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you've got to tell everyone else to up the game, haven't you? You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah. I mean,
You think you've
I wouldn't
shocked them?
feel to compete with Matt Longstaff, like so.
We got a last message from Mick Scully. Your brother seems to be doing really well at Heaton Stanton. Do you think he could play at a higher level?
I think he's another one. He's sort of had problems with injuries as well. I thought I had bad luck, and then you look at sort of the things that's happened to him. He's had his jaw broke, like metal rods in his jaw and stuff. He had his toe sort of came through his skin, which was horrible. His shoulder was popping out for a while, and he was playing games, and then he would have to come off because his shoulder would pop out, but he sort of knew it was going to happen. So he's another one. He's been a victim of bad luck, really. And I think he's had sort of a few. One or the other.
What you mean?
Your fault. It's been bullying him.
Adam
Let's look at you on not the jaw off.
Exactly. But I think so. He's another one that he's doing really well there, and the team's doing really well in the second division of the Northern League, that top of the league. And I done a bit of sort of training with them in pre-season and stuff, and you can see they're a good side as well.
There was a goal scored. Is it
Orr? Sorry?
There was a great goal scored at Heaton Stanton the other week. Was it by someone called Orr, a car? It was like a 30-yard screamer. I'm trying to think who the goal scorer was. It's a beautiful goal. I did have it on me. Yeah, it was. There's just no stopping it.
He scored a screamer in the Vars. We've got some really good players. I'm just happy for Ryan, because he's obviously had a tough time, but he seems to be enjoying his selling. And every time I've been, I didn't like to tell him but he's been really good. You know what I mean? He's been quality. So I'm just buzzing for him, really.
Spot on. Well, there is one more that's come through. It's been asked a couple of times. I've been avoiding it in case it's an insult, but I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's. Mr. Luke, Owen, is it true you have a square? Is it true you have a square head? I don't know.
I mean,
what's that?
It hurts. That like, it hurts.
I know. I was thinking. I didn't want to read it out, but it got pressed a few times, and I was like, well.
You know,
snake out for that, like.
That's another one. I'm blaming the lads for that as well. But I think you know what it is. That's because Dan Ward tries to deflect his head being square on me. So if it makes him feel better, I'll take it. So
yeah. Well, at least you don't put up fitness montages of yourself pelvic thrusting a tiny weight bar, as if you lift your bar. You know what I mean? And then looking at the camera, and he's like, ugh, and you're like, no, son.
That doesn't even scratch the surface. He said he was 6 foot the other week.
Was he standing on a 3-foot box? Anyway, Owen, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll say I wish you all the best of luck for the rest of the season and hopefully beyond. I'll say you've been a great addition to the squad, and you seem a lovely lad. And one day, I might let you see me feet.
Thank you very much.
I'm booking up for Saturday.
Yeah, I know.
I'll be Saturday. It may have to be Sunday.
No. I think about 5:30. My booking is.
I can make 5:30.
No.
Bring a chisel.
Put a face mask. It's going to be smelly. But anyway, Owen, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Best of luck on Saturday, bud. Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers.
There we go. Owen Bailey, absolutely fantastic there. Lovely lad. Couldn't get him off. I'd say the show's nearly over. We are going to have Jack, the Brackley fan. I think he's going to contact us later on. But if I didn't get your messages read out, I'm sorry. Just or deep in conversation, he was answering some of the things that we're saying. Charles Walters, but after so many games in the stadium, I think the fans supporting and singing constantly during the games is having a massive positive impact on the team's performance. I think it is as well. It's doing nothing
I
wrong.
think in football in general, Davey, I think the players have realised just how big a part the fans play.
I think so. I think they've been undervalued, especially at certain levels for many years. Well, we'd like you to like and subscribe to the show. This is how we do it. When we come back, we'll have Jack, the Brackley fan, with us.
Hello everybody, remember to like and subscribe and share the show.
Well, hello there, Jack. How are you doing?
I wouldn't actually see him today.
Yeah, I thought you were in witness protection the last time.
You can see me today.
Are you cold?
I'm freezing.
Yeah.
Look, yeah.
I've been working since 7 o'clock this morning. I've just literally got home about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you very much for joining us. As I say, it's not been a bad start for Brackley, has it?
Could be better. Could beat Darlington, but yeah.
I think what went on there, I think they did that for the manager of them being ill.
Yeah. To be fair, Darlington were a good side that night, and we were just below average. But
yeah. And but
were you there?
Yeah, I was there. The red card ruined the game, in my opinion. Never a red card, but can't really blame the ref, can we? We don't have VAR and all that in this league.
Certainly don't.
It's a good start to the season. Top of the league with Filed, and yeah, we just go from there, really.
Mind you, I wasn't going to bring Filed up, but they keep shooting themselves in the foot, literally. I mean, we've had
yeah.
You see what happened?
Last
week, a couple of the youth team players were firing, was it BB guns at Bams in a pub?
Yeah.
So they are not really covering themselves in glory at any level, are they?
No, not really. No.
So, yeah, but hopefully they slip away.
Well,
in the league.
They play Kettering every week, and I know a Kettering fan. I think Kettering are 2-0 up, I think. And they said they're the worst side to play Kettering this year. I was like, oh, and you managed to draw 2-2. Thanks.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good start to the season, and we got to go Kidderminster Saturday. It's not an easy place to go to.
No,
not really. No.
You don't seem to have missed Payne that much.
No, we haven't. Shepard Bedsy, who came in, he's been a different player this year. Maybe because there's fans back in stadiums. Maybe a lot of players have stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
But at the moment, touch wood, we haven't missed him. But
he's at Boston, isn't he?
He's at Boston, and Boston are not doing that great. I know they're far in now, but at the start of the season, they lost a few games on the bounce. But
I lose again on Saturday.
Who they got Saturday?
Us.
Oh, they got you. Oh.
I hope anyway.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We got you next week, haven't we? No, the following week.
I think the week after Cup, and
20,
then
23rd, isn't it? We got you.
Yeah.
That's gonna be an interesting game.
I think
your place. Isn't it?
It's at your place, I think.
Yeah.
I thought it was away.
But you mentioned about Boston starting slowly. So did York. I mean, they're both just hanging just underneath the playoffs. But it hasn't been a pain in the backside to see, has it? It's been nice to see them have a bit of a slow start.
Well, yeah, we beat York, didn't we? We beat them 2-0 at their place. What I thought, new ground, we would have lost that, but they don't seem that good either. I spoke to some of the fans on Twitter and they said they won't be playoffs this year.
There's a lot of disgruntled fans there. I think they had.
I think York are a weird place. I think their fans are just. If they lose 4 on the bounce, they want him out. If they win 5 on the bounce, they think he's the best manager. But
I think there's a lot of pressure, and if you put like the way they've moved stadium without fans, and it's put that added pressure on, and then you've got the other side of it's all been done under a weird circumstance, and maybe he's got a little bit of leverage there, but he always seems to be 2 games away from the sack if you read Twitter from the York fans.
I think if you go to York, that's probably the biggest job in our league. They want to get out of that league desperately, don't they?
Yeah.
So if you go to York, you're expected to
I would say you're expected to win 3/4 of your games.
You're expected to win the league, aren't you? For York, who they got? Clayton Donaldson, ex Birmingham, Bradford City striker.
Yeah. But how old is he now? 38? 39?
37?
38, 37, 38.
He's scoring goals, but to get a full season out of a player that age is going to be a bit.
And he started all these FA Cup games against like Whitby. I think he just needs to put out he's putting out a strong squad to make sure he doesn't lose against all these lower league teams, should we say?
Yeah,
but it's just a strange one, York. I don't know. I'll tell you who is doing good. I'll give praise. Curzon Ashton.
Yeah,
shocked me.
Massive praise to them. Probably the smallest club in our league. I'm not disrespecting them in that way.
No, you would say they are. Yeah, it's.
I would say they probably are the smallest club. They don't get big enough fan base. Maybe three. I don't know their crowd this year.
Yeah,
but fair play to them.
Geographically, they're in a great place to pick up players.
They are in a good place. You got Stockport County players on loan from there.
Salford, you've got all around there. Stanley Bridge,
I'll give him massive praise. Their manager, I follow him on Twitter. He follows me on Twitter, and he's a good guy. He loves what he's doing. Fair play to him.
Spot on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as regards York and Boston, it's just a poison chalice because they want out of that league
but look at Boston and York. They've got a lot of money, and Curzon, I don't know what their money situation like, but I don't think they have a lot of money.
Yeah,
and third in the league?
Many was got a patch on them.
I thought this year Curzon would be not down there, but
there always seems to be a team in this league that does seem to surprise everybody each year. There's always a team up there.
Well, last year before COVID here, it was Gloucester. Now they've lost 9-0, 5-0, whatever the results are.
Yeah,
they sacked their manager, but
they sacked them halfway home from us after we beat them.
I was at.
I think it's about 7 o'clock at night. They would have been nowhere near home, and they put a statement out that sacked.
Imagine being on the bus back home. Yeah,
that's what we were saying. We were like, at least drop them off at Scotch Corner before you get
at least drop them off.
I was saying, I hope he lives in Yorkshire.
Hope he lives.
But it wasn't just him; it was all his staff as well. So can you imagine that bus ride home?
Depressing.
Yeah, just a little bit.
How have you lot started the season? I've not really looked.
We've been trying not to get too excited, but exceptional. Like really, really good.
Who did you beat? Like in the FA Cup, like 6-2.
Park Avenue.
Did they put their strong side out? That's a bit of a.
Yeah. It was. Obviously the second half we started to bang them in, but it wasn't a walk.
That's been coming though, Jack. Someone was going to get a hide up.
Worrying for Bradford to come back to you lot again this season in the league.
Yeah. It wasn't like fighting tooth and nail, but what we're doing at the minute is creating that many chances. It was always going to happen that we were going to have a high scoring game because we are getting the ball in the box that often and opening up defenses. It's been a joy to watch, and long may it continue. Hopefully it will. And all the strikers have scored, even whoever's on the bench. Like Paul Blackett's got goals. Kedwin, Campbell, and Langstaff's he's boots on at the minute. And then you've got the midfield, Dan Ward, Greg Ollie's creating and scoring goals. Even the wing backs are scoring goals there. They've scored about 2 or 3 goals each, the wing backs.
Yeah.
So it's just creativity all over the park. It's been lovely to watch. But they say the bigger teams are coming up. Boston this weekend. That's going to be a big test. Yourselves.
I think we haven't lost away from home this year yet.
Oh, stop teasing.
Let's hope it ends at war place.
we always seem to draw against you at your place. Like last year, I think it was 2-2. You were 2-0 up, weren't you? And the year
that's
before.
it. That's right.
That's our party trick, that being 2-0 up and drawn 2-2.
Well, I think with Brackley, we've got a small squad, and
yeah, we have as well. I mean, I haven't been naming a full quarter of substitutes. We've had a few players out of broken foot, and then there's a few going to come back at the same time, which is good, because if we had an injury or suspension, we would have been down to the bare bones.
We would have been bringing kids from the academy in, Jack, if we had any more injuries.
That's not. What do you think of the Newcastle takeover and with situation with your fan base? Is there any Newcastle fans?
Lots of people that support both clubs. It's a strange one. Obviously, happy for Newcastle fans. It's a massive thing. I mean,
fair play to them.
Yeah, everyone dreams of being the richest club in the world. It's not going to happen overnight for them. They've got to build it gradually. They can't bring in Neymar in January. You know what I mean? That's not but
imagine Neymar coming to Newcastle.
I'm imagining.
I'd love to see him shivering his bollocks off in Eldon Square.
Can you do it on a cold Tuesday night in Newcastle? Probably
in the Northumberland Senior Cup against Ashington.
Yeah,
in the North at Gateshead on a Wednesday night.
There's not many people can do it at Gateshead on a Wednesday night. But would you? Was even some Gateshead players that couldn't do it on a Wednesday night at Gateshead. But no.
Would you lose any fans?
Possibly.
Yeah. Would you lose any fans over?
Possibly, but there's in the Northeast. There's always been a big floating contingent, and the biggest floating contingent has been the Northern League, who will latch on to a team and support them in the FA Vars. Now you can go through all the FA Vars winners, like Whitley Bay, for instance. Now they're probably only getting 200-300 a game. They were getting 1,000, 2,000 a game when they were getting to the FA Vars semi-final and final. You know, and when they get to the stages, you will have a conglomerate of Northeast non-league fans will jump onto whoever's doing well, and that seems to happen a lot in the Northeast. There's an exception to the rule at the minute in South Shields because obviously they're in between, of more of a distance between Newcastle and what Gateshead has, and the about equal distance from Sunderland as well. So it's a bigger town. It's set away. They've managed to build a fan base through their success and they've went up the leagues. And to be honest, they haven't lost more than 20 games in 5 years. So they're not used to losing. You know, so they've romped every league they've been in. They've been robbed of coming up because of COVID.
Yeah.
But they're getting about 2,000 a game at the minute.
I follow them on Twitter. I see what they're doing to their stadium. They're building that stand, aren't they, to the side, is it?
Yeah, but the thing is, I was talking to Mickey before we came on air. It's a strange thing because you've got a billionaire at Sunderland and a billionaire at Newcastle. Now, who's to say in 5-7 years' time they're both competing for Champions League spots? It's not out of the stretch of imagination if they've got that money.
Yeah.
Are you going to have the people that abandoned Sunderland when they were doing Dyer, the people that abandoned Newcastle because of Mike Ashley? Are they going to go back to their childhood clubs? That's the question. That's the only question mark I've got on the whole situation. And it's a little bit of a worry because I think as a Gateshead fan, you would hope to get them floating Newcastle fans who were disgruntled at Newcastle to come over and support Gateshead. Now, are they more likely to do that? Or are they going to be wanting to watch Newcastle on an illegal?
Probably not.
You know, that's the only worry. But if we're playing the football we're playing, then it will attract people in. And fingers crossed, we can get past Marsk. That's going to be a tough game in the FA Cup.
They beat Chester 4-0, didn't they?
They beat South Shields as well. They give South Shields.
Did they beat South Shields?
And there's a former Gateshead striker playing as well. He's scoring.
Isn't Adam Boyes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, ex-Gateshead as well.
Yeah.
So, did he play for Bradford as well? Bradford Park Avenue?
I think he played for Bradford Park Avenue, Barrow, York.
Yeah,
I recognise the name and it popped up on my phone. Didn't he score 5 goals against someone in the FA Cup?
I think he's got 8 or 9 goals so far in the FA Cup this season. He's got 22 or 23 goals so far in all competitions.
What league are they in?
They are the Northern Premier.
Northern Premier Evo Stick East, I think.
Oh, so like one below the
Two
actual
below.
Northern Prem.
Yeah, one. Yeah, so two below us. So it is going to be. Yeah, it's going to be tough. But and we've got one here. My concern with youngsters are going to be brainwashed with going over the water and less inclined to come watch Gateshead. That's the thing at the minute. It is going to be the my fear is we've never had great local spotlight in the media, and now that is going to be the big game in town, the big show where even for national press, the hype. You remember what happened to Chelsea when Abramovich got there? It was all Chelsea. Man City when they got the money. It's
Man City.
It's going to be that roadshow, isn't it? Especially in January to see who they sign and if the sack Bruce they're going to bring in. You know, it's a worry, but we've got to. I think that everyone at the club would see we concentrate on what we're doing off the pitch. It looks good. The amount of adverts and the community outreach. We just got to keep doing what we do and fingers crossed get an FA Cup run and get some attention that way and
get to the first round, get Sunderland at home.
Could you imagine? That would be amazing.
That would be the biggest game in the FA Cup for about 3 years. For the northern-based teams, like imagine.
And then when we get past them, we'll beat. I
think you're dreaming now.
Who's got in the cup, Jack?
We've got Guiseley at home. What?
Oh, he should beat them.
Yeah,
but we played. We played. Did you watch the Hanley game on the red button?
No, I didn't even know it was on the red button, Jack. Unless I would have.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we played Hanley. What?
No, I wouldn't have. I was at a gig, so I couldn't have watched this. I apologise. I'm telling lies.
Yeah, we played Hanley on the Blues red button, and Hanley. I've never heard of them before.
Mm-hmm.
And we went there, and I was speaking to their chairman. They've got a lot of money. They've got like 6 ex-professional players, and they got like, I don't know if you ever heard Danny Pugh before.
Danny Pugh, yeah.
Yeah. They've got Ryan Shotton, used to be at Middlesbrough.
Stoke as well, yeah.
Carl Dickerson used to play for Yeovil last year. Used to be at Stoke.
He was at Arsenal as well, wasn't
he? Yeah, I think, yeah. You got Louis Dodds, used to play Port Vale.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah. So I take it these are Stoke.
Yeah, they're Stoke area, and they've got a lot of money. I was like, so what is your plan? He wants to be like the next Salford. I was like, oh my god, I'm glad I'm never coming back again.
Yeah, it's strange, but as I say, it's just one of them things. But yeah, it's just there's always going to be a chairman that'll take over a non-league club and try and take them as high as he can.
And he'll realise when they get to like the Conference North or Conference, you think it's a big league this is, and it'll take a few. If they were in the Conference North this year, I think the Conference North this year is probably the strongest league this year I've seen.
Without a shadow.
Like
I think the National League is as well.
I've not really looked at National League, but I've seen Grimsby at the moment flying.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, but what do you make of Wrexham? That's it. For
flat run
last
to
question.
deceive. Flat run to deceive.
I think
plenty money in there, but not getting results. Same with Notts County.
I think they're doing it in a better way than what I think people are expecting them to do. I think people are expecting them to throw ridiculous money at it and bring some football.
Maybe they have threw ridiculous money at it, mate.
I think they would have signed. They could have signed bigger marquee players. That's my.
Yeah, I think they could have signed. Who did they sign?
Mullen.
That top? Yeah, Mullen. Signed Mullen. And signed that centre back from Cheltenham. He was their captain. What's his name?
Tozer.
I think that's the only two they've only really signed. I don't reckon anyone else.
Went balls out and tried to sign a championship striker, or which they probably could do. You know what I mean? There will be some egotistical striker that'll drop down for the money
from like Cardiff or somewhere or Newport.
Because you're gonna have the there's a Netflix documentary or Amazon Prime documentary.
I think it's Netflix.
Yeah, there's a Wrexham documentary coming out. They've got to deal with TikTok. They're the Spurs sponsors, and they're going to be doing something. So they're doing it in a way where they're building them up to get they're generating money before they're putting money in, which is
And they got
the
9,000 the other night.
Yeah, they've got the ability to do that with the connections. It's probably a less risky investment for them than what it would be for anybody else. Because I don't think they've put that much in as what people think. I think they're generating the money on the back of it. These deals, the Netflix deal and things like that. Then once again in the Football League, they're flying.
And they're getting money through the fans coming in the gates. And
as you say,
9,000
9,000 the other night against Chesterfield on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Luke's been on the wine gums tonight. He's put, "We're coming for you. We're coming for you, Brackley Town. We're coming for you. We're coming for you."
we can both stay in the playoffs, and we can meet in the quarterfinal. We can beat us on pens again.
Yeah, I tell you, it's dangerous. Jesus, how big was that bottle, Mickey?
Daniel bought the Tizer, man.
I'm drinking the Monster to keep me awake.
Oh.
I've got a lot of planning to do.
Planning?
As far as pitching,
you getting a new ladder, like?
Oh, we were talking about that every night. We said
yeah.
it's actually cheaper to watch from a ladder than actually going to the stadium. And yeah.
If you come to our stadium, the pies are beautiful at half time.
Unfortunately, I'm not coming.
No. Jack, you're missing out. The chicken and ham and leek pies at the die for. Towards the bulky ones.
Look, we'll have to get in the first round FA Cup. We'll bring 300 up because our special occasion FA Cup first round.
Yeah, we'll pull some strings at the FA. We'll both.
You can be battle number 10 and we'll be 11.
Yeah.
And we'll beat you 3-1 in the FA Cup first round.
And then I'll just throw pies at you.
And I'll eat them. No, yeah, I'm been following commentary recently, haven't I? So.
All right. So you've been enjoying that?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. Commentary are flying at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty well.
Just the home games, or you've been away as well?
No, I've fallen out of Brackley. I'm not going to say why in too much detail, but yeah, I've been going away. I've been going away with Coventry as well.
He's come on under the premise of Jack the Brackley fan.
But no,
I know. I'm joking.
I think I said to the club, I was like, look, this year we want to start getting away. We want to get away fans to more games, and like we want to put in a bus. Or the supporters want to put in a bus, and the club turned around and went, "We don't want to do that." We were like, "Okay, no. Where does the support? Like for example, if we got a bus to Kidderminster, what's probably not less than an hour and a half up the road, £10 a bus ticket, you fill that bus easily. Leave at 12.
You would imagine so.
Leave at 12:30. Get there for 2. I don't know what time you have to leave. Get buses checked in usually. But
football politics. It's there to give us constant headaches. But we've ran 10 minutes over here. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right. I was just there because my wife wants to get the dryer back on. I can't paint the illusion that this isn't a studio. It's the corner of the kitchen. Even though
you just the washing hanging over you.
Oh God.
We know what you do. We know what you do in your spare time.
Oh, just under the thumb. So. But anyway, on that note, Jack, thank you very much for joining us.
Nice to see you, Jack. You take care, bud.
We'll speak closer to the game against Gateshead.
Definitely.
No worries, bud. Take care.
All right, take care.
Bye. Well, there we go. Good show. We've had Owen Bailey on with a great chat with him. Jack, it was nice to speak to him. I see we went 10 minutes over. But hey, there's no rules on what the time limit is, but my throat is killing us off days of coffee.
Before we're gone, Davey, Gateshead lasses are away to Berkeley Town on Sunday.
Get yourselves along.
Get yourselves along. And the 24th of October, we've got Harrogate in the FA Cup.
We are planning on having another ladies' night for the promoting GFC ladies. It would have been possibly arranged for this week if illness hadn't have took hold, but we will endeavour, because we've been on it, Simon, to get him on for a while. He was willing to meet up this week, and then I was, lying there like a tart. Yeah, and we'll have to change the night for the ladies one because they train on so it might be Wednesday night next week. So we'll try and get something in place. But a massive fact, I mean, the amount of views we've had tonight and messages has been absolutely phenomenal. I was a little bit worried we might have had a bit of a damn squib tonight with the news that's happened across the river. But thank you very much to everyone. Remember, like, subscribe, share, click, poke, do what you've got to do on social media. And hopefully I'll not look as worn out as this next week. So I know people just tune in for me looks, but I look like Deputy Dog at the minute.
Stop moaning, you tart.
On that note, we'll see you next week.
See you later, bud.
Bye.